Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Bradley Ellis.
Big word.
Michael Damiani. Brandon Jones.
Gotta get it wide.
And Ian Hink. Hi. Do we explain Big Wide, or we just kind of...
No. Moving on.
We must now play Pro Strats only, please. Jones, I have one. No, Jones,
Okay.
I got one that's hard this week.
I didn't say anything.
I picked out a hard one for you.
Didn't say anything.
If you're not familiar, this is where patrons of Easy Allies ask the experts of our panel for help in a game that they're having a problem with. Here we go. Hello, allies. I'm stuck in Trigonometry Town 2, Build It Math. I'm at the part where I must determine how much roof overhang my house should have to block sunlight from hitting the side of my house at noon when the sun is at the angle of 75 degrees. Should I take the tangent of theta using the height of my 19-foot house, or subtract the angle of the sun from the right angle where my house meets the ground and use the triangle instead? Pro strats only, please. Corey.
Who? Corey? Is that it? See, like, here's the root of it. Is I don't believe Corey's a real person. I think this. Granted, I don't do
Corey's
homework
a
and
patron.
check.
Yes, I pulled this from Patreon. Corey is a genuine person with a real problem with his game.
Well, then my genuine answer is you take the tangent of the theta, but that's like not. It sounds complicated, but it's just not. Like you've succeeded in writing something that sounds tricky, but it's not actually tricky. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
It's not. I mean,
Jones, this is like
that's my answer.
That's the hardest game I've ever played, and you're smugly being like, "How would you not know that?"
I guess I am. Because it's
Damiani, would you have known?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. A theta. Brad, would you have known how to do this?
Yeah, dude. Of course.
Ian, would you have known?
Yeah.
I guess I should cancel the segment then, huh?
Whoa.
No, man.
Hold on, dude.
It's a good. I'm just trying to be constructive. It's a
No,
good
I'll just
segment.
try. I'll do
It's
a different segment. I'll do
Kyle.
something else
It's a
instead.
good segment,
Kyle.
and I like doing fresh segments at the beginning.
Kyle, I just got to say that never before in my life have I ever been jealous of you until you came up with Pro Strats only, please.
Whoa.
Dude, you can't kill it, man. It's a fan favorite.
Okay, I guess I'll just try harder next week.
Wow.
Damiani, that means something to me.
See, man?
Begin corrections music, please. Shinya Takahashi, Senior Managing Executive Officer of Nintendo. I feel so bad. This is a person who we apparently brought up many times, and always I'm like, never heard of this guy before. Mm-hmm. So it's this executive at Nintendo, shows up in these videos all the time, Nintendo Directs, here I am, and never leaves an impression. And I just think of him like listening to the podcast, and we're like, don't know who this guy is. Just like, he's the guy. I guess guy's got to deliver bad news. Retail copies of Metro Exodus will include Epic Game Store codes, which is weird because on January 24th, apparently, they confirmed that it would be a Steam key in the box. So if you're buying that box, at some point between January 24th and last week, they're like, oh, actually, we should slip Epic Game Store codes in there. I wonder if they had to like open boxes and switch out the codes. That's pretty crazy to me.
Are they doing any more box versions other than there's like a special edition I thought was like the one that came with the Steam codes. So is there like a standard release maybe?
There is, yeah.
And
that's coming with. You think even the special edition? I'm
feel
gonna
like
get corrected again.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, Metro Exodus corrections is probably a bad idea for the next couple weeks.
I got a few.
I'm just saying.
I got a few.
It speaks how crazy the situation is.
Exactly. Yeah. Unprecedented that they would actually have to change the code that are going to be in physical versions of the games is too crazy. I asked people about if the price changed in your country or not. Mm-hmm. Nobody changed for the better. Brazil changed for the worse. They're charging Brazilians US dollars for this. So the US is the only country in which Metro Exodus became cheaper on the Epic Game Store.
Not in the country where the game was developed?
Yeah. And what's so funny is like somebody even brought up that you could buy it on the Razer store for $48. So technically it was even cheaper on one store in the US. Mm-hmm. So yeah, pretty nuts. Sweden, no price change. We have a lot of listeners from Brazil. A lot of checked in.
Hey.
Like it.
Nice.
One thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about why someone would go to the Epic Game Store, and I forgot this one key aspect, is the Unreal Engine is basically free, but Epic's gonna take a 5% cut of your total revenue. If you publish on the Epic Game Store, they don't take that 5%. So Metro being on an Unreal Engine gives them further incentive, like another 5% subtracted from
if it's only on the store or if it's on there along with anything else?
on there as well as everything else. With Metro, they clearly bought a deal. They bought an exclusivity deal. Division 2 will also be on Uplay. Many people wanted me to mention that. So Uplay and Epic Game Store.
Oh. Yeah, for sure think they put it on their own.
Samus apparently back to normal at the end of Metroid Fusion. Back to her old suit.
Okay.
I thought she was going to be like a gross, slimy blue person for the rest of her life. Apparently, there was antidote.
Where is it in the timeline?
At the end, the very, very end.
It's the last game?
It's the last game in the timeline.
Oh.
Unless Federation Force? No, Federation Force is in the prime timeline. So yeah, I guess it's the last thing you ever see of Samus, and I never played to the end. For some reason,
I haven't played since Game Boy Advance.
I assumed she was stuck like this. Great Saiyaman is a disguise from other students, not Chi-Chi. Damiani,
of course.
Where do you land on Great Saiyaman? I thought he was disguised from his mom. I thought he didn't want his mom to know.
His mom's not in the city when he's like fighting crime.
Wow.
It's for his students. He's in high school.
Wow, Kyle, he's trying to hide his identity from the other students. So
That's exactly it.
Yes.
Like Videl and stuff.
Oh my gosh. and
That and
Videl.
Metroid back to back. Damiani's furious.
Can anyone sing the Trials Fusion song?
Trials Fusion.
Man, machine, the future.
That's it, Jones. We always say man, machine, the future.
But it's not, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
man, machine, the fusion.
The fusion.
The
that's
fusion.
Right.
Yes, the fusion between man and machine.
Is
right.
it Welcome to the Fusion?
It is Welcome to the Future.
Okay.
Man, machine, the
Oh,
fusion.
well, they're playing with fire.
And
makes
corrections
more
music,
sense.
please.
Cool.
Woo-wee. Also, some weird stuff. I kind of count this as an update because I think it's kind of interesting that THQ Nordic, the holding company, is separate from THQ Nordic Vienna, more of like a publisher still, but tied in with Deep Silver. They combined into one holding company. I got corrections that it's like, hey, that THQ that wrote that tweet wasn't THQ, it was THQ the holding company. I'm like, it's still THQ. THQ wrote that tweet. But anyway, what was interesting is that the holding company, because I think of what happened with the confusion last week, is going to change their name. So THQ Nordic Holding Company of Deep Silver and THQ Vienna will become some other name in the near future. Kind of interesting. Okay. Do you all remember my favorite way to start a podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Game announcement.
Game announcement. And Brad, what is the most special kind of game announcement?
A shadow drop.
A shadow drop. I knew that one. Jones even knew that. We had a shadow drop over the course of the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Was rumored as soon as Friday. I think
Like
Friday the rumor
influencers
started.
were talking about it.
Yeah, it started popping up, bubbling up that Respawn, developers of the Titanfall games and the upcoming Star Wars game, are making a battle royale game, free to play, that doesn't have any Titans in it in the Titanfall universe. That was the rumor. And I was like, cool, okay. Nothing, I think they officially confirmed on Sunday, hey, tomorrow, check it out at noon. We'll be doing a stream. Check out our Twitch channel. We're going to just blow it out. And I think it was like a 12-minute, 15-minute presentation. We're going to show you what this game is.
Oh, that's short. So it didn't drag on?
It did not, dude, it did not
Great.
drag. It was really
Great.
nice. Yeah, so at noon Pacific time, just trailer shows up. Apex Legends is the name of the game. It is a battle royale game. Instead of 80 or 100, there are 60 people. These 60 people are divided into 3-person squads. In those squads, you basically have classes. You have character classes. Each class is a character with a unique character, unique personality, unique look. So it's kind of like hero-driven Overwatch style. But you have to be in these 3-person squads, and these characters do have different abilities. Like one ultimate, one like passive ability, and then like one like regular like ability. That's it. That's the game.
Yeah.
And you can play this right now, free to play. Go download it.
I played it.
Brad played it.
I played it. It was there, and I was like, okay.
Give me your first impression. Give me your quick impression.
I only played, full disclosure, only like 30 minutes.
Hey,
And I played it, and I was like, oh, it was okay.
sure. Panel, what I prepared today to talk about Apex Legends, 7 genius things.
Okay.
I want you to tell me if I'm out of line with these 7 genius things. These are things that I think are genius with Apex Legends.
Okay.
Jones is excited to tell me I'm out of line. We'll start with this one. The shadow drop itself.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yes, genius.
So I want to read you a quote that I love. This is it's from an interview with Eurogamer. Lead producer Drew McCoy said this. And Jones, I think you'll love this too. To try and convince a skeptical audience for months with trailers and hands-on articles, we're just like, let the game speak for itself. It's the most powerful antidote to potential problems. We're doing a free-to-play game with essentially loot boxes after we were bought by EA, and it's not Titanfall 3. It's the perfect recipe for a marketing plan to go awry, so why have that? Let's just ship the game and let players play. Love that quote.
Yeah, great idea.
Love that
Good
reasoning. Boom.
Especially with the characters in it, like what a marketing team is like. Well, we've shown you gameplay, kind of the rules. We got to make like 5 more trailers. I guess we'll do a trailer for every character. It's like, I don't care about these characters.
Yes.
Versus, I'm just discovering this game now. Who do I want? Oh, I want to be that guy. Now I like that character. Now I'm just introduced to it and I'm playing as that character 5 seconds later. It doesn't work with everything. Like Mortal Kombat is a different story. Obviously, like they're slowly rolling out the roster, so like some properties can create excitement because people are wondering who's going to be in it. What do they look like now? What are the new characters like? But for this, it's like to not. Case in point, you brought it up beforehand. I can't even think of the name of it. It's not around anymore. Cliff.
Lawbreakers.
Lawbreakers. The first thing they ever released was like a 3D model of one character, and you're just like, no, that doesn't really tell me anything.
No, that was the other Unreal game, the 3D models.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was.
What was that game?
Yeah.
It's the one they canceled. They were working on that in Fortnite, and they're like, sorry, we're canceling this other game. It was like Immortal Champions or something. Dude, that game.
Yeah, terrible that I can't come up with that.
Yeah.
Bad at my job today. If I can't come up with the name of that.
I think Lawbreakers was a CG trailer first, was it?
Yes, it was a story trailer.
Okay.
That explained the law and the breakers and the title. But focusing on characters for something like this is a bad idea. It's just not. People care. Paragon. Thank you.
Paragon.
Thank you, Ian. People are going to, like you, Brad, like you're primarily going to be like, how does this play? Is this fun? Like that's what when you said like, okay, they did it. That was what you were checking. It wasn't like, how spunky are these characters? Like how well are their backstories really portrayed in each match? That's just not, for that genre, for that, to try to capture the interest of that audience. This is something that's exciting to get your hands on immediately.
Yeah, and that's what I like in the quote, and I like what you just said, Jones, is that all games can't be shadow drops. Mortal Kombat 11 would be a bad shadow drop, right? Like, we want to anticipate Mortal Kombat 11.
Easier with a free-to-play
You'd
game.
miss a lot of potential momentum to build up toward launch.
Yeah, but also I feel like there are games that we've talked about where like, why didn't they shadow drop that? Why did they announce that now when it's not coming out till like summer of 2019? And so there is different types of games that deserve to be shadow dropped. This one, as stated, is the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Because it is just like everybody, we know you're mad. We know there's a lot of reasons not to like this. Just try it. And it worked.
Because a shadow drop is a gift.
Yes.
And like some companies, when they give you a gift, like we're saying, Titanfall, like it's interesting position. EA's in an interesting position for multiplayer games. And so when something like this happens, like, oh, that was a nice gift that they gave us. We didn't have to, sit through all of these trailers, this marketing campaign. We don't have to wait for something that we weren't really sure was going to be great. Whereas if Ed gave us that gift with Mortal Kombat, it would raise a red flag. We'd be like, ooh, why was this rushed? And so it is a kind of you're showing your hand a little bit. You're kind of revealing like, we don't think it could have survived a marketing campaign. We think this is something that we needed that feedback immediately to really tune this game to be what people want it to be, and not us selling ahead of no, this game is what we want it to be as developers.
Yeah, on that same coin though, Jones, it is not a half-baked game. It's not like early access. This game is complete in a way that I think a lot of people did not expect, hearing about it just the weekend right before. Pretty crazy that way. I got another genius thing. They locked in top streamers, we can call them influencers, on day one, so that right after that presentation, that 12 or 15 minute presentation, you were watching your favorite live streamers playing this game immediately. They were called partners, right? It said like Apex Legends partner or something on their screen.
That's genius.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Locking
so that's
them
what I
in
want to talk about.
is pretty standard. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's smart to do now, but
They got
labeling it is
big
appreciated.
streamers to do it.
Yes.
Summit was doing, you said, Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah. I think Summit may have not been a partner.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting.
He was just playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I think there was like a little club of it too, which is kind of funny, where it's just like, oh, I got to go to LA because they were flown out ahead of time to get experience with the game, check it out.
Yeah.
So that on day one they were ready to stream and ready to compete, and it was big all day. Basically, I think that they were partners for as long as they were paid by EA. But at the end of the day, those flags were gone. The Apex partner flag was gone, and they're still playing the game. And so it was number one on Twitch all day long by a huge margin. It's number one currently, and I think that's because they pursued these people, but now it has a natural momentum. Now they don't even have to pay them anymore because it's mutually beneficial for everybody.
Well, think about this. A lot of those big streamers play Battle Royale all day, like 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. When there's a brand new one by Respawn, it's like, oh, this is something new and different and fresh. So, yes, I want to play this. Like, even if they don't stick with it forever, but it's just like new right now.
I mean, a lot of people probably would have done it for free. They probably would have been doing it anyway.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, sick, new Battle Royale.
Yeah, but I like the idea that they locked them in.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe it's because it's a good game and they wanted it to speak for itself. These streamers are having a good time with it. They like it, fundamentally enjoying this game, the things that make it different. And so that is, to me, you know, Jones, we love trailers. We love public statements even. This was the best marketing this game could have had, is streamers playing it.
Yeah.
He's nodding.
I agree.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go through some stats because I think this is pretty crazy. Just before we started recording this, so 3:20 p.m. Pacific time. Currently, there are 305,000 people watching this game. Yeah. That is so crazy. For perspective, Fortnite's at 146, and Sea of Thieves, we talked about how that was huge. 5.1K. So like I know this is gonna fluctuate, right? I know that when I say 305K, like it could be 20 the next week, you know. But this day after, I saw earlier today, I think Tim the Tatman is his name, got it, and Ninja were both sponsored. They were both Apex partners. But as of that 3:05 p.m., there were no partners left. Everybody was just streaming it on their own accord. And I think that's pretty exciting. I think that's a genius way to market your game. Next thing. Let's go for a simpler one. Markers. So, because you're in 3-person squads, communication is necessary. If you don't have a group of 3 friends to play with, you know, you have to communicate a lot with randoms.
Yeah.
What I really like about this game, it has a system of markers where you point at a thing and you just like click on it. It can be in the distance. Everybody knows like, oh, that gun is over there. I dropped this ammo over there. There's a guy over there. Look at this point. Look at this waypoint. Let's go over there. Don't go over there. And it has a system of communicating with everybody that's extremely simple that Ian calls it pinging.
That's what they call it in the game.
Ian, you played the game yesterday.
I streamed it with Huber, yeah.
Tell me about pinging.
I think you point at it and hit R1, and then it goes, the characters have voice lines, and it puts a marker up, and so that someone would say, like, there's blue armor over here, or whatever.
Isn't that insanely simple?
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, and you could, like, thank someone. There's, like, a button prompt or something.
Yes, I saw thanks even.
My robot was like, thank you, or something.
I think that stuff's genius.
Yeah, it's cool.
And just come out on day one is like, here's pinging.
Yeah,
Ian,
it's a good idea.
What was your first impression of the game while we're going through the genius stuff?
It looked good.
Looked good.
Yeah, I liked the way it looked, and it ran well. Like, we were playing on PS4, and it wasn't crashing or broken or anything.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Just the idea that the servers were not crashing yesterday is
I hear on
so
PC
insane.
it was, but
I got DC'd once.
Ooh.
Yeah, PC
Once.
had
On
some
PC.
trouble. But like, still, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
DC'd once?
For, like, the game launching that day.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
I liked it. It was cool. It
So-
was a game I was happy to watch, didn't need to play it.
Is pinging genius, or is that just like a cute little thing?
I think it's good.
Yeah, you said it was cool and good.
Yeah.
I'm with Brad.
I think
Not quite
it's
genius.
both.
Fortnite, you know, the my Save the World that I play in Fortnite, they had that like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it's not revolutionary, but
play.
I think it's a smart thing for that game mode specifically.
Fair play. Okay.
And I like the thank you button. I think that's even better than that.
I love the thank you button. Number 4, no Titans, no Titanfall in the title. I think that is genius.
I do. Some people were sad about it, but I think that was a smart idea.
Yeah.
I miss the Titans, though, man. I really miss the Titans.
I think it's so they can add them later and everyone.
Yeah, I mean, they
will
probably
have
can.
fun.
as well.
But I really miss them, dude.
I think they have no intention of adding them later.
Oh, who knows?
They could have
I
a
have no
mode
interest in it then.
or something. They could have a mode or something where there's like Titan that just drops randomly.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. It could still be added later.
Wall running is different too, I guess.
There's no
you can,
wall running.
You can
yeah.
run up stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's
you can't like
it's
do a
not
sideways
as much
wall.
as Titanfall
More
than I recall.
I kind of want to tap into this perspective that Damiani has because Titanfall 2 is one of your favorite shooters of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad people are enjoying this. I think they've been smart about all the business decisions they've done to give this game the best chance to succeed. Hearing there's no Titans in this, and who knows what's going on. The fact that the initial report was there was no Titanfall 3 in development, like, I just hate everything about this. I don't like it. I'm angry that this exists and there might not be a Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
I wanted to follow up to the campaign of Titanfall 2. I think it's one of the best single player campaigns, especially a shooting game campaign I've ever played. Like up there with like Metroid Prime, like in terms of like wow factor and just like awesome design. And then think that they might not get a chance to make a follow up to that and have to do this, because it sounded like I only focus on bits and pieces, and it sounded like they just decided they were at a point in development where this part was good and they're like, we're just going to release this. It sounded like, or that was the original report I read, said we're just going to release this, we're not working on anything else beyond this in regards to the Titanfall universe.
Yes.
And I know there's that caveat that apparently came out recently and said, like, actually there's something with the T word that's coming, at some point. Was it Vince that said that?
I think that's a pacifier, though. I think you should not expect anything.
Oh yeah,
soon.
I don't buy that at all. I think if anything, I think it's adding Titans to this maybe at some point would be the best you can hope for. And yeah, the fact that this has no Titans in it specifically, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's another battle royale. I was like, I just would gravitate towards Fortnite because I played it, I'm familiar with it. I don't want to jump into any additional ones. And yeah, I'm just sad that we potentially have lost a unique franchise.
Let me ask you this,
and a potential
Damiani.
Sequel.
If it was called
I mean, they called it something
Titanfall: Apex Legends, and there were Titans that dropped every 10 minutes, do you think it would be a more successful game today?
I think if it had any kind of Titan mechanic in it, the fact that it just like made it like your squad can get, just everything you said. Heck, just make it like a 60 or 50 player Titan battle royale. I think I'd be way more interested. I think it'd have more longevity. I'm scared.
To me, that's crazy.
I'm scared that this game is doing well right now because they've made all the right decisions. But I think this kind of
you're scared they made all the right decisions
because for the future of the game, because I think it's a fickle thing. I think it's a fickle market.
For sure.
When you just point out Sea of Thieves' number,
right?
Like in 2-3 weeks, I expect this game to be like nothing.
Yeah.
It will be like, hey, remember a few weeks when we were playing this? Everyone's back to Fortnite. Everyone's back to their main games they're playing. I don't think this is enough. I don't think this game has enough.
You know what they do then?
What?
Put Titans in it.
I don't think Titans would save it. So why I think this is genius that Titanfall's not in the title, that Titans aren't in it. I think that we have to accept that Titanfall 2, Damiani, I love it too, wasn't a big success.
Right.
I think they needed to move on from it. They care about their world, which I love. Respawn clearly cares about that universe, but you have to find a new way to make it successful. You have to, as a business, find a new game that will generate revenue. And so I think that it would be less successful with Titans in it. I think it would be less successful if it was called Titanfall something, because there's certain baggage to it.
I think people would be way more pissed if it was called Titanfall, had Titanfall in the name.
Yeah.
There might be even that, yeah.
I mean, I agree. They made the smart choice of not calling this Titanfall at all. I think people would be way more upset about the decision to do this. I don't know. I saw that there was some digging into the why Titanfall 2 underperformed. There's like a report that said that it was actually the Respawn people who had the complete control of when the game came out. They weren't forced to release it.
Yeah, I saw Jason Schreier was talking about that.
Because everyone blames that it's terrible release date for why it sold well. And they're like, actually, no, they picked that date. They believed in it. And everyone's like, if they picked a different date, it would have done better because it would have been sandwiched between all these other great releases that year came out. But I mean, at the same time, everyone likes to say single players games are dead, and yet they're selling amazing. Resident Evil 2 sales? Amazing. Kingdom Hearts 3 just sold Shipped 5 million stuff. Like single player games can, and last year Spider-Man, how God of War, like they can definitely sell amazing. It's possible.
If they have a huge name attached to them.
Titanfall.
All 4 of those games had a huge name. They're all
He's right.
hugely successful
I
franchises.
think Titanfall could do better. I think Titanfall 2 was, but people played it, know it was good. I think if people showed Titanfall 3 and showed a campaign and said it's same people and everything, I think they earned some goodwill from the last game. I think Titanfall 1, it had a lot of buzz around it. People played it. It was good, but it didn't. I don't think it delivered on everyone's expectations. Mm-hmm. So people went into 2 going, the first one, you guys kind of let down. Then people who played 2 said, yo, this is actually really good. Play it. And if they made a third one, people were like, yeah, I heard that second one was really good. This one's probably going to be like the best one. Like, there's no angle they could have played on this. And if they had EA's backing with it as well for a marketing plan, I get you said, like, the dangers of a marketing plan. Like, this is what they try to avoid with this. I think this Titanfall 3 would be a game that definitely would need a good marketing plan. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was going to sell, like, numbers like Kingdom Hearts, Resident Evil, or Marvel, or Spider-Man or God of War. But I bet it could have outsold Titanfall 2 and been, like, a step in the right direction sales-wise and could be building to something. Heck, Titanfall, everyone thought was just to be a multiplayer-centric game. It could have been like the next good single-player game, especially like Call of Duty dropping campaign mode. Mm-hmm. Like this could have been another good shooter genre game that had a strong campaign mode to fill in that void. I think it could have succeeded. Especially I think it could have succeeded.
I don't know, man. I think they're just reading the writing on the wall. Like if you've got a sweet cult classic indie darling, and you want to roll the dice on the third one and sell 1 million copies or whatever, why do that when you could put out a free-to-play battle royale that takes less time to make and could potentially have huge upswing and take less effort? It's just a smarter financial.
I feel this is too much of a gamble, man. I think you're playing a low odds game with the battle royale genre right now. I feel like you can throw as much money as it like they're doing. Yeah, you'll get you can buy so much success, but I don't think this is gonna change anything. I think this is ultimately gonna be like. To them, it's be like, hey, did good for a few weeks, but now where is it at? What is it doing for us? Okay, time for you to move on back to Star Wars Respawn. Like you're not working like time, and is Titanfall completely dead? Oh, Apex failed. We didn't put out Titanfall 3.
They're committed to Apex. So I do want to say, for Apex's credit for its success, we talked about Twitch numbers, which you're right, don't mean too much. But Vince Zampella did tweet at the end of the day, in 8 hours, the game had 1 million players.
Yeah.
As you're saying, that could drop off for sure, but that is a huge successful day that most games could never reach. And I don't think Titanfall 3 could ever reach.
I wonder what percentage of those 1 million bought the other 2 characters. Because it basically costs $10. I guess you'd have to buy the $20 pack to get both,
No, I'm sorry. How does that work?
There are 8 characters, but 2 of them are locked out.
Did not know that. Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
And it costs I'm spitballing, guessing. I think it's like 750 points, in-game points that you can earn by playing it, I believe. But you can buy them for $10 or something like that. I don't know the specifics, so don't come after me with that. But
do I get to pick which characters I want?
Yes.
There are 2 characters you can just straight unlock them, but you need that currency.
Got it.
So basically, to get all 8 characters, you got to pay $15-20 or play a bunch to unlock them. Unless there's some way to unlock them that I don't know about, but yeah.
Yeah, I bet they made a lot of money in one day.
Yeah, I wonder.
I bet they made a ton of money yesterday and are making a ton of money today.
They probably are. No doubt about that. I also would argue that the brand recognition, Respawn, Vince Zampella, people made Call of Duty before. Shadow dropping a game, of course, it's going to grab people's attention. You had Keeley tweeting about this. Like, there was, a lot of buzz going into this.
Ooh, they had the Keeley tweet.
Yeah, remember that?
No, I don't, yeah, yes.
I think, yeah.
He was tweeting ahead of time,
There was a lot of buzz going into this. Not every game can just shadow drop a free-to-play battle royale game, and it's good. It could be good and still do these numbers. Like, they had a bit of help with their,
I'm with
name
Kyle.
recognition.
Yeah, Jones, you nodded immediately when I said this was genius.
Yeah.
I want to hear your take on that.
I think there's 2 different situations. Hey, what's this? A new Titanfall game? Okay. I played Titanfall 1, thought it was okay. I didn't play 2. Heard it was good, but, not interested. Oh, there's new Apex Legends. What's that? Oh, okay, looks kind of interesting. Oh, those clips look cool. Oh, it's Titanfall 2? Interesting. It's like there's a story there. Whereas like you see the word Titanfall and you automatically bring all of the stuff in your head that's cluttered up there, concerning Titanfall.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's probably like a very bizarre line to draw, but like reminds me of PT a little bit. Like Silent Hill was not in great shape when PT came out, and PT is not exemplary of Silent Hill really. Like there's not a lot of the classic characters in there from the series. They were showing off a brand new protagonist that was like an actual actor being put in the game. There's a lot of things that if those were headlines before PT happened, people would be like, whoa, I don't know like where the series is going. They were just like, what about this other game? Let me just throw something at you you're going to enjoy regardless. And then now you're excited about this brand. Now you're curious about what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. Ian brought up some stats I'm going to make you read to make Damiani feel worse.
Oh, I got a counter. I saw it already.
Okay.
Yeah, it says Titanfall 2 sold 5 to 6 million. EA expected 9 or 10. The article says that EA wasn't pissed about that. They were like, we wanted to, but we're relatively happy with the performance.
Sorry, where's that article from?
GamePer? It was the first one that came up.
Game PR? Mm-mm. Okay. All right, Damiani's counterpoint.
Oh, yeah, it was revealed. EA's quarter reporting or Q3 earnings report came out. Battlefield 5 only sold 7 million copies. Big Battlefield, big name recognition, only sold 7 million. Underperformed expectations. You tell me Titanfall 2, game that has not near the legacy or history of Battlefield, sold like 1 million less than it. One of their marquee games. Like, come on.
This should become a debate show. That's a great counter. I gotta say, that's a great counterpoint.
Yeah, come on. Like, I know, like, I'm sorry. My viewpoint of Titanfall is Titanfall 2 is really freaking good. I'm really excited about a possibility of Titanfall 3. Like, I'm really sold on that. So I like actually believe in that. So from that perspective, everything I've seen about this is like, I'm happy other people are enjoying a new type of game, and I'm glad the developers, if they find success, I'm glad, because if this game does well, I want this game to do well because maybe they get the money and they can eventually make a Titanfall. I don't want Respawn to go away.
Yeah. Right.
Like I don't want to wish that, but the pragmatic part of me says this will likely either become their future for like long term, other than Star Wars, or this won't do well, and they're going to tell them to work on something else. And either way, we're not getting a Titanfall 3. And I'm like bummed out.
Yeah, there are two things that are worth mentioning on this, and I think they're both from Schreier's reporting on Kotaku. One is that as of 2017, fall of 2017, Kotaku had heard that Titanfall 3 was in development. And that it transformed into this game. They wanted to get Titanfall 3 out quickly because apparently it wasn't looking too hot on the Source engine, their modified version of the Source engine. And so they wanted to get it out fast before, I guess, next gen, or just before it looked too dated, I think is the word that was used there. So yeah, there was a Titanfall 3 in development, which I think hurts Damiani worse, is that it was transformed into this Battle Royale game. Secondly, though, Damiani, I just learned this today. I think this is really interesting, and Respawn says this themselves. The Star Wars team is a completely new team. No one from Titanfall. That wasn't any like Titanfall group. That was Stig Asmussen just hiring his own group. I think that's incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I think what would happen is if Apex doesn't do well, some of the staff might either be let go from the Titanfall team or rolled into just the Star Wars team as like need more, as they ramp up and need more people.
That's actually what I thought they were maybe doing.
Or they will just be assigned to a new project. They're like, hey, EA's like, hey, we have another game we made. We think you're a good fit for it. And the Titanfall team will become another IP team, essentially.
I got a quick question outside of the Genius game. 5 months from now, which will be bigger? Battlefield 5 Battle Royale or Apex Legends?
I don't feel like Battlefield Battle Royale will be that huge for some reason. I just get that weird feeling about it.
Me too, dude.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it doesn't come out.
I mean, I think it'll come out, but
that's a hot take.
Like they take what they're working on and save it for like a fall big release. Why waste it on this now? Like just work it into something new.
We'll probably have Battlefront 3 or whatever next year.
Star Wars Battle Royale game.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have a Battle Royale mode.
I see this game working. I see this. I know that could drop off. I see the merits in it, and I do see the value in it. And I watch streamers who are loving the game itself. So I can see it in 5 months being okay.
Still around,
yeah, still around, not bigger than Fortnite as it is now.
No, I don't think it will be. maybe.
But yeah, I don't see Battlefield 5 reaching what
I've
this
seen
game's
a lot of
accomplished.
platforming. I've seen very, very little of this game, but the clips I've seen on
sliding?
social media have a lot of platforming.
Yeah.
A lot of like, I'm gonna get over to that guy, and they're not gonna know I'm coming. And like that just plays really well in this genre, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
You think about all the exciting developments in Fortnite this last year. A lot of them had to do with go-karts and planes and just moving them all around the map faster.
The balloons. Ian, I want to give you an opportunity to counter-argument Damiani's argument that Titanfall 2 was not that unsuccessful because Battlefield 5 was unsuccessful this year.
I mean, they both failed.
Quick and to the point.
They both failed. Number 6. In-game banners. Now, here's a weird thing this game has. So in this map, there's a huge, like, Hunger Games banners where you see players on them. You see like the best player who has the most kills. That person has a bounty, and you see their image on this banner. So it's like Brandon Jones right now has the most kills.
Not true.
Here's what he looks like, and he's got a 500 something.
In one location or multiple
all
locations?
over the place, Jones. They're huge banners, and sometimes they're small, but there's basically in every area you're at, there's some banner in sight. I love these.
I love that too. That's great.
And what I also love is that part of the things you get out of a loot box, which is not one of the genius things, but just another customization thing, you can customize what your character looks like in the banner. And so when everybody else is looking up and like, oh, there's the top crew, they see that thing that you assembled. They see that image up there.
Something like that when you start the game, showing like 3 people, like the best squad ever. But I don't remember ever just looking up at the banners when I was playing.
No.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't like, I don't have time to look at this banner right now.
Right.
So I'm out of line here.
Well, I mean, okay. I don't think it's that genius. I just think it's fine. Whatever.
The weird thing that Huber and I discovered is that the banners, maybe the legendary banners, cost the same amount as the top legendary skins. So those are 1,200, and the banners are also 1,200.
More people are going to see your banner than your skin.
Yeah, it just seems like a weird valuation to me.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think it's a neat thing to another customization option, right? You have emotes, you have win quotes and stuff like that.
I'll give you credit for that, Kyle. Is I think they're on to something.
Yeah.
The idea that the better you perform in a game where everyone is on the same map, multiple players, dozens and dozens of people. I wonder if like a game that has like AI, that might have like zombies and Blackout, or like AI's added that like maybe they're colored the way you are, maybe they're your character model or some way that like you can visibly see stuff being affected, in terms of one character.
Globally,
replays maybe, where it's like if every time the top player, every time they take someone out, it's replayed on a monitor and you can see it. So you can kind of tell, oh, they're over there. Okay, I'll go try to get that guy.
Yeah, that kind of stuff's fun. Play the game. It's just like it's cool to see. It's cool to have some notoriety amongst this crowd.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a smart idea. They can make more money off that too.
Because I don't hate that. Like as a player, and that's just me.
No, I don't hate it
when
either.
I play games like this, I know I'm going to be terrible. I'm going to be in the bottom of the list, and so like I'm not striving for the best. I don't see players that are like being recognized for being on the top and being like, I want to be that person. Hats off to people that are that competitive and that good at these games. So I would enjoy that. It's like, oh, okay, I'm having fun in my own game, and I want to see the fruits of the top players. I want to see like how they're affecting the world by how good they're playing.
Astute listeners will note that I called the last number 6. I somehow skipped one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jones even noticed.
I was hoping you actually skipped it, and we could.
Jones, I only have 6 genius things. I don't have 7 genius things. I just realized I counted wrong. So here's the true number 6.
Okay.
My final genius thing. I think it's genius they launched with 8 characters. I think that is the right number. I think that you can get overwhelmed with a number of characters that you're being introduced to.
Yeah.
Where it's just like none of them mean anything. And so right now I think they have 8 distinct characters. I'm not going to say they all have distinct personalities, but each of them feels like a different character that people know. Like, oh yeah, I love Gibraltar, a great name. So it's like I think 8 was the right number, and I think that was kind of a genius move of holding back day one with your roster.
Sure.
Yeah, I think in a game that's hero focused, it's hard. It's very hard, I think, to make standout heroes or like.
Yeah, like how do you stand out?
Especially day one. Like how do you like in that like? Do you want players really spending a lot of time trying to figure out who to play as, or just playing the game? and you want them in the game playing. So the less decisions they have to make on that level, I think is good up front to get them familiar with the game, and then you add more customization as time goes along.
Yeah.
And I think just in general, it's really hard to make really good characters. And, just having a small selection makes it easier on the development team.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call any of them really good. What's the guy called? Mimic? Mirage? His name is Mirage.
Mirage, yeah.
I think he's kind of the standout personality, and I realize, it sounds like DJ Atomica. It just sounds like a sarcastic guy. But I kind of like, he takes a selfie and like another version of himself pops up behind and gives him bunny ears. Like, that's kind of cute, but it's still not like, man, I love Mirage. I don't think they're that.
It reminded me of like Lawbreakers.
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah.
A little more fun tonally, but
Lawbreakers was trying to be pretty wacky too sometimes, I guess. Maybe not as wacky, yeah.
Were they cracking jokes?
I can't
That orb was cracking jokes.
The orb was cracking.
There was an orb cracking jokes.
Yeah,
I think Mirage is one of the ones you have to buy too.
Yeah,
You gotta buy Mirage?
Yeah, you gotta buy them.
Yeah, or earn
He's
them,
the locked
whatever.
one. One of the two locked ones.
One of the two locked ones.
Not a good idea potentially to have something I can spend money on called Mirage.
Speaking of spending money on Mirages, I want to talk about Nintendo's mobile game news. We have they did a quarterly report, annual report actually last week. Generally, Damiani, I don't know how much to talk about with that, and obviously you will on Friend Code. They're not going to hit 20 million as they originally said at the beginning of the year. It's going to be something closer to 17, of course. But I didn't want to talk about this, is that there was a new game announcement, a mobile game in the Dr. Mario franchise.
Great franchise for a mobile game.
Dr. Mario World is the title. Not much else. Summer 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I do. You know what? There is something interesting. Is the developer is NHN Entertainment, I believe. Did I write that down right? I think that is okay. So NHN Entertainment. I didn't know who that was. That's a Korean developer who made Terra, Tera.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's I think that's their hit, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to Wikipedia, you learn they made 5 MMOs in 4 years. Released 5 MMOs in 4 years. Terra being one of them.
Wow.
Their last puzzle game is called Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Oh, it's based off the movie Kingsman: The Golden Circle. It's a match 3 puzzle game. But it's like there's a turn-based RPG. So like you match 3 and then like the boy like shoots a guy.
Okay.
That's all I can like glean as I look forward to Dr. Mario. I don't think it's going to be dropping with action. I bet it's going to be match 3.
Oh, okay.
That's my bet. That's my bet.
I'm curious, how they're going to do it and stuff, because I doubt it'll be a standalone, like a single price point purchase.
Yes.
I think Nintendo's learned their lesson that everything's going to be in-game transactions, like free to play. So
it's going to be a saga game, right? Like when you add world to it, we're going to have a world map that we're moving over level to level to level.
I think the thing is that it's going to be that involved.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm just curious to hear more details about it, because it seems like on paper that the idea of putting Dr. Mario on a mobile phone seems like obvious, but you have to think, well, okay, is there going to do anything unique? And look at what they've done with their other games, how elaborate they are for mobile games, and Dr. Mario as a concept, I was like, is this going to be, I'm just playing against other people online? As you said, it's called Dr. Mario World.
Yeah.
So
World.
That brings up images in your head of, as you said, maybe there could be a world map. Mario, like maybe you go to Dr. Mario Academy and you're learning to be a doctor and you're training under Mario and like
origin story.
Yeah, like there you go, Kyle.
No. You're pulling me in. Because Johns, I think it's actually a bad game. If we're talking straight Dr. Mario, I think it's bad. A D-pad on your touch screen, that never works out right for me.
Can do swipe controls?
It probably.
You kind of get, but like I don't ever want to play Tetris on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I need my D-pad. I
want to play Dr. Mario on a mobile phone.
Yeah. That's what I feel like, Jones, is that it's not quite there where it's just like I can control this exactly as I need to. Obviously, you can play PUBG on a phone, so like things can work. It could absolutely work as it does conventionally. I just don't see it being profitable as that kind of game.
Interesting. Yeah, just whenever I look at the top mobile games that I've never played in my life, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's still up there, huh? They're all kind of Dr. Mario-esque, like they all just star
Candy Crush.
Yeah, just they're puzzle games like that. They're stuff where requires a little bit of thought, but I'm on to the next match really quickly, and it just seems like it could just fit really easily into that format. When like Mario was coming to mobile, I was like, oh, no, just regular Mario.
Yeah.
I was like, how's this gonna work? And I felt they kind of had to get creative with that setup, and they could get creative with this. I'm just not counting on it.
Another game, Jones, where I'm like, how's this gonna work? Mario Kart. Nintendo's Mario Kart game, which was to come out, I believe, by spring of 2019, has been delayed to summer of 2019.
Yep.
What's that called? Tour?
Mario Kart Tour?
Mario Kart Tour. Still no screenshots, but Nintendo says expect that later than we originally expect that. Sorry, investors. Man, I don't have a talking point for that game. I don't know, dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to have some kind of gotcha element to it, though. Whether it's
like carts?
Like either cart parts, or potentially characters. They give you like a base roster of characters and parts.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And then you get I only got like the 5-star version of Gold Mario, and then here's the 3-star version. It doesn't have quite as good as stats, so
Yeah, you want that dry bones?
I also heard a good idea that someone thinks that you don't actually play in real time. It's all about like the cart shop
trials and stuff.
It's like setting up your cart and stuff, and then sending it to go. And if you don't hit the right stats and stuff, it's like Chocobo racing in Final Fantasy VII, where you get to watch the race.
No way it would work like that.
Well, I mean, is Nintendo known for online? It's like, is Mario Kart Mobile suddenly going to be the first Nintendo game that functions wonderfully online?
I feel like they want to tap into
real-time mobile against other racers. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's
maybe
doubtful.
on the track you can at least like tap on the question
there
mark box.
There might be some interaction on there, but I don't think you're going to steer.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to steer.
Fair point, dude.
Whoa. And you'll need tickets to race.
Yes.
There will be a time when you'll boot that app up and not be able to race.
Why I think it's fair, Damiani assumes there will be gotcha in there. Correct me if this is wrong. Fire Emblem, I think, is by far their most successful Nintendo mobile game. If we're not counting Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah. It's still like they're just announced their 2nd year anniversary stuff. Like they're going to keep supporting that game. It's making them money.
Yeah.
It's been a huge runaway success story for them.
So I think to not try to apply themselves to that model would be silly. So
Yes.
yeah, I bet Mario Kart will try to do the same thing. Gotcha. You like it? Sounds like it's podcast halftime.
Gotcha. Wow. The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of February. World Premiere.
Welcome back, Dee. This place is nothing without you. I always knew we would come back. Even to fix a problem. Science. When magnetism turned into machinery, and machinery turned into power.
That was a world premiere video game from Bitcake Studio called D-Magnet. There you go. Check it out. Children's Miracle Network. More than 10 million kids enter a children's hospital across North America every year. To provide the best of care for kids, children's hospitals rely on donations and community support. Since 1983, Children's Miracle Network hospitals have helped fill those funding gaps by raising more than $5 billion, most of it $1 at a time. Its various fundraising partners and programs support the nonprofit's mission to save and improve the lives of as many children as possible. The link to donate is in the description. Mango. Beaten Down Brian. iKeyless.com is now Car Keys Express. Ooh. Check them out at carkeysexpress.com/store. They continue to offer replacement car keys for less than the dealership and remain proud sponsors of Easy Allies. Use the coupon code EZA at checkout for free shipping and 10% off of your order. Sweet Justice, a sound design company from the southern shores of the UK. They've worked on some of the biggest AAA titles, the most refreshing indie titles, and collaborated with the best development teams in the world. Thanis. Hogue Law, business law firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. And now, that good business lawyer has a YouTube and podcast series, Virtual Legality. This week, Hogue discusses GameStop's failed corporate sale and potentially dark future, the implications of Metro's flight to the Epic Games Store, and the enterprise license that led to a war between Facebook, Google, and Apple. Check it out at youtube.com/HOEG Law or at most major podcast locations. And our mega sponsor, FantasyCritic.Games. Fantasy Critic is a new site where video gaming meets fantasy football. Grab your friends, create a league, and face off as you predict what the year's top-rated video games will be. Just like fantasy football, you'll hold the draft and stock your roster with the hottest up-and-coming titles. At the end of the year, the player with the best lineup of games based on review scores courtesy of OpenCritic.com will be crowned the winner. Think you know what games will come out on top? Head to FantasyCritic.Games now and play for free forever. Also, check out our Twitter and subreddit to follow news about upcoming features. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
I want a follow-up question. So that wasn't just a world premiere of the trailer. That was a world premiere of the game itself.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal, Johns.
It's a big deal.
You locked
big
it down.
Scoop. Made it, boys.
Yeah, it's a big scoop, baby. We have a segment called Future News I frequently bring up, where it's not too interesting today, but I want to put it on your radar. I think this might be something interesting in the future. Firstly, Microsoft announced a panel. I guess they're not called panel. Oops. Jones, you have one more thing to mention.
And charities are not from the Children's Miracle Network is not our sponsor. Someone sponsored us, Easy Allies, at that tier, and then chose to do a nice thing and give a shout out to Children's Miracle Network.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Thanks, Ian, for being on top of that stuff.
Right.
They're having a talk at GDC titled Xbox Live. Growing and engaging your gaming community across platforms, presented by Microsoft. The description of this event. Xbox Live is about to get much bigger. Xbox Live is expanding from 400 million gaming devices and a reach to over 68 million active players to over 2 billion devices with the release of our new cross-platform XDK. Get a first look at the SDK to enable game developers to connect players between iOS, Android, and Switch, in addition to Xbox and any game in the Microsoft Store on Windows PCs. So, in March this year, Microsoft will be making a presentation of this. I think XDK just means cross-developer kit. I think it means SDK. The capability of, let's say, logging into Xbox Live on your Switch, earning achievements in those games. Checking out your Xbox friends list on the Switch on your iPhone is something that they're working on and will be presenting in March.
I mean, this could be a big deal.
It could be a big deal, right?
Big deal. I mean, if they get there's some point in the next few months where I see Microsoft bring out a Switch in some presentation and start doing that stuff and showing you getting achievements for Nintendo does achievements. Even if it's not for Nintendo's games, but for other games, people are like, oh, there are achievements now. Oh, I can get Microsoft, achievements on my Switch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On my iPhone? I have to use that stupid Apple Store stupid thing?
Microsoft does what Nintendo don't.
Microsoft achievements? Yeah, there you go. Or even like Microsoft making amicable proposition to Nintendo about, hey, if you're not going to do achievements, would you be consider if we, did some kind of partnership here?
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't imagine.
No quarrel, Nintendo. No quarrel. No quarrel. We won't touch your first party games, but for third party games and stuff that are Microsoft games.
It has to be on a game by game basis, right? Yeah. I can't imagine them having this third party software that works on the larger overall system software. I think it'd have to be per game. I'm logging into my Xbox account. But yeah, I wonder who'd be in on that.
Nintendo to promote it, saying Nintendo when advertises in their Switch, it's hey, you get
Let's
these cool
Mortal
games,
Kombat.
you get this, but guess what?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat coming 11, which has Microsoft Achievement support or whatever it's gonna get called. That being on that box, just having that there on the Mortal Kombat 11 Switch box, saying Microsoft whatever service, Xbox Live with Achievement support, something like that.
Could be big. Could
It's
be
a
big.
step.
It's a step. We'll learn more in March, obviously. This one was forwarded to me by Bloodworth, and I'm like, you know what, Blood? That's actually a big deal. You know, I'll take this one. 2K, or Take-Two, and 2K in particular, is starting a new studio with Michael Condrey. And you're like, who's Michael Condrey? Oh, Jones, you know Michael Condrey?
Yeah.
Because we did an episode. You remember we did an episode about Sledgehammer of this podcast? One of my favorite things is like taking a deep dive. We did a deep dive into Sledgehammer. If you don't remember, there were two people, Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey, who worked together and made Dead Space at EA. They made a bunch of games. Dead Space was like their hit. It's what they left on. Then they co-founded Sledgehammer, and Michael in particular served as director on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Advanced Warfare, and World War II. Then both those men left Sledgehammer to work as executives at Activision, and this is where I kind of fell off and didn't know. They both left that position. They were executives, they were like VPs of development or something like that, and they both left and said, okay, you know what, we're done with this.
They probably just want to make games.
Yes, I think that might be the case. Glenn in an interview said, I have a few good games left in me. But Michael Condrey just this week showed up that he will become president of 2K's new game development studio in Silicon Valley. He will build and lead a new development team to work on an unannounced project. We will see in probably 2 or 3 years. Cool. Future news.
Cool, yeah.
I like those two guys. I wish them all the best. I was on Glenn Schofield's Twitter to see like, hey, what are you up to, dude? He just like posts cool paintings and doodles.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what his project is right now, but he'll do ocean waves, like a painting of ocean waves. I'm like, man, this guy. And then also like cartoon, like a big page of like dinosaurs with big bug eyes. It's like, okay, cool guy. Cool guy. Looking forward to what both of those guys are working on in the future. We will not know for a while. Now time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
I guess it's also pretty interesting that 2K is still developing new IP, whereas they kind of just snatch stuff up and put out old stuff for a
Weren't they saying they were
while.
going to do stuff with Bioshock or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, do you think it didn't say new IP,
I don't
did it?
know.
It said new software, so
Yeah.
he could be working
Like-
on Bioshock.
I was saying,
Weird.
a year from now, you'd be like, this game is the next Bioshock. Like, not literally Bioshock, but now it could literally be.
That is what you sound
Bioshock.
like.
That's what I sound like?
Yeah.
This game. I'd be bummed. I'd honestly be bummed if they hired him to come and just make a new Bioshock game. I want to
But
believe
what if it's
that,
a good
I want
Bioshock game?
I
Yeah.
want a game that people would say, like, this makes me think of Bioshock, but it's not Bioshock.
What game made you think of Bioshock
Bioshock.
in the last 5 years?
Bioshock.
All right, come on, dude. You know I like doing updates. This one's kind of cute. Hey, allies. A few months ago, a fellow ally wrote into the podcast to say how they had finished Persona 5 even though they were new parents. Well, my daughter just turned 2 months old, and while it's not quite the juggernaut that Persona 5 is, I just finished the Onimusha remaster.
Nice.
I wanted to say thanks to them for their advice on how they kept a wonderful hobby alive despite having a busy schedule. Planning to jump into Yakuza 6 next. So wish me luck. LNR, Zian.
That's a feel good. Good job.
Yep. I like this kind of question where you make me, I like a game has fallen off my radar and you bring it up. I like this kind of thing. Here we go. Salutations, allies. This might be too late to make it in. It's not. Make it in, and you may have brought it up in the podcast proper. I did not. But I wanted to ask you about a recent development in Granblue Fantasy Relink.
Oh, is that the Platinum one?
Not
Exactly,
anymore.
Brad. Yes.
Yeah.
So Platinum recently had their name removed from the game's site and are no longer working on the title. I should read their press release, actually, their Platinum Games. While we, Platinum Games, have been working with Cygames in co-development of the upcoming console game Granblue Fantasy Relink, we officially announce our contract on the project has come to an end. Development will continue, but be handled solely by Cygames' internal development team. We would like to express our thanks to everyone who has shown interest in the project and ask that the same support should continue for Granblue Fantasy Relink as production continues forward. Continuing on with the letter to us. Between this, Scalebound cancellation, and Korra and TMNT not living up to expectations, I find myself wondering what is going on at Platinum. What do you think? Love and respect, Y2 Kyle 89.
Bayonetta. and Nier.
Korra wasn't their fault.
It's probably Activision.
Korra was Activision gave him like 2 months development time.
Wasn't TMNT like that also?
I think the rumors were like that too. Platinum's at its best when they get enough time and aren't dictated too harshly, which I think was what was happening with Scalebound. I bet Scalebound was a clashing of just like development philosophies. Platinum's like, bye, okay, we want to do this, and they're just Microsoft's like, okay, no, you got to do this, and they're probably like, well, we have too much respect for our work. I bet, yeah, we don't want to do this.
Why do you think this split with Cygames happened over?
I think it was possibly just it was either money. Cygames probably decided that, hey, do we really need Platinum? Like, what are they adding to this? Like, what can like they're expanding. They're huge.
Platinum's huge,
No,
or
Cygames.
Yes.
So I think they might have just reached a point where, like, do we really need them anymore? Like, their contract came to an end. They probably were discussing it for a while. They're like, they probably saw what Platinum was doing for them. Like, we could just do this ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
and they want to.
Yeah, like we don't need. We shouldn't be outsourcing. We should be doing this ourselves if we want to become a even bigger name and have like build up a reputation. Especially, I think this is their global brand name. I think speaks a lot when they can just put their stamp on a game. Say we did this by ourselves, and it's an awesome game and it does well. What is the other game besides? We saw a trailer for it recently, like Souls-like or whatever.
Oh yeah, what was that called?
It's like a big CG trailer.
Oh, is that TGS?
Yeah,
The other Platinum one?
No, just Cygames.
Cygames.
Okay,
Cygames.
Cygames
Like
working
they're
on it, yeah.
trying to. Yeah, I think they're trying to like hit it big with like console games.
So they made the other Nintendo one that came out, right?
They made they assisted with Dragalia Lost.
Dragalia Lost.
Yes.
And that kind of bombed.
I don't think it bombed. No, I think it's doing pretty
I
well.
think it bombed.
I think it's actually doing well. I think it's on track to be right. It's going to be the second best mobile game behind Fire Emblem Heroes. I think.
Oh, you're talking Nintendo-wise.
Oh yeah, but
Yes,
Nintendo wise.
okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's a new IP too.
Yeah.
I think it bombed.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You think what you're gonna think?
This is a little interesting. I'd love to know like the truth behind this,
Yeah.
but to defend,
You're saying Platinum's doing
to defend
fine.
Platinum Games when they've
Yeah.
given them the proper when they've shown they can cut it before.
I actually think
they've
they're-
actually developed extremely great games.
They're probably hotter now than ever, to be honest with you. Like Bayonetta 3 is coming.
They'll probably do another Nier.
That's another thing,
yeah.
Kyle. That's a good point. Platinum might have said no and said like, "Hey, we actually don't want to renew our contract." Like Cygames were like, "Hey, we're ready to renegotiate. What do you want for your next round?" They're like, "Actually, we're too busy with other stuff. Like, we want to move on to other projects." That's totally possible.
Yeah.
You got Bayonetta 3. Who knows what the heck else they're working on? They might just be too taxed.
The other thing is that weird Square Enix game, it was at the end of the
Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, Babylon's Fall.
Whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
Are they working
Yeah.
on that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is Platinum.
Oh, again, they might just be stretched too
I think
thin.
they only have like 3 development teams. I don't know if they can go beyond that. Project Awakening,
Yeah.
I think that's the name of it. Thank you, Ian. The one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of respect for their work. I think they know their limits, and they probably realized that Granblue Fantasy was going to be a long development cycle. Like they keep updating that game. It's going to be continuously developed. And I think they might have wanted out on that to work on other stuff.
Yeah. I did check out the gameplay of Granblue Fantasy, the console one.
yeah.
Relink. Looks good.
Oh yeah,
You watched it too?
I've been excited for it. I've been waiting for its like release.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried now. I'm
Still no release date on it, too,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm down to try it, but the fact if it doesn't come out this year and the next time we see it, it looks different, I'm gonna be like, okay, nope, I'm out. I'm out now.
Yeah, I hear you. It's cool. I think Platinum's in a year, we're going to be respecting them even more. This next love and respect entry, a little salty. You know, I like a salty one.
Yeah.
Segment's called Love and Respect, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about love and respect.
Battlefield 5 sales were impressive.
Has Sony done anything to move the industry forward? While its first-party software remain unconquerable, its business tactics lean towards anti-consumer, see backwards compatibility and crossplay, and contributions to the industry outside of their games are uninspiring. Nintendo has introduced joysticks, rumble, battery backup saves, motion control, portable systems, and dozens more impactful changes over the decades. Microsoft introduced built-in matchmaking, digital downloads, achievements, group voice chat, in-game invites, and other services previously unheard of on console. With news of Microsoft wishing to expand Xbox Live to third-party platforms, we talked about that, including Nintendo, this lack of innovation is more glaring than ever. And Sony seems to be isolating themselves to their brand instead of contributing to forward momentum. outside of their exclusive library, has Sony done anything to move the industry forward? And will its lack of invention hurt them in an ever more inclusive future? Adoration and admiration, Grant.
Wow. I don't want to get into a correction thing, but I'm pretty sure Sony was the first console with backwards compatibility. I don't know if it beat Game Boy Advance for the first system to have true I don't count Game Boy Color as backwards compatible. Like, it just added color to games. But GBA was backwards compatible with old GG.
I think you can make a case for some Sega consoles, too. Just chunking them in, like the Sega CD.
Oh yeah.
But you needed, like, the Genesis for that.
Sorry.
You're right. Genesis was the base of
Those
that.
were all add-ons, but like the next
yeah.
system didn't actually play. Like, the Genesis play Master.
Probably some Atari game, or Atari console though had backwards compatibility.
I guess that's right.
Yeah, but like, it's fair to say,
but in modern
PlayStation
console,
2 had backwards compatibility,
and it popularized it.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah,
like everyone kind of followed suit after, because right after that, next gen was like, Nintendo's like, hey, we're gonna have the virtual console. We're gonna be backwards compatible with everything. So it's like, well, here's the PS3. It's backwards compatible with everything too.
Because Nintendo had been trashing everything. Like, hey, those carts, trash them.
Oh yeah,
those won't work.
They
ever
were
again.
completely against it. You know what? Like, listen, like you can harp on Sony now what they're doing. I know they've made some decisions that have angered like people who favor consumer rights, but I think historically, you can look at the other companies and point to a lot of things. Nintendo was very, very anti-consumer for the longest time under their old president Yamaguchi, the one who like burned the bridge with Sony with that add-on for the became the Philips CDI, wanting to stick with cartridges as long as possible because they didn't want to pay royalties to other companies for CDs.
And they wanted people to pay royalties to them too.
They were notorious for like, you want to license a game on our system, you were gonna pay you're gonna pay a lot for that, and no one liked them. Like everyone was like, wow, Nintendo, you kind of stink. I mean, you make fun games, but your practices kind of suck. And
could that happen with Sony now? Is Sony being the Nintendo of the N64 era? Is somebody about to PS1 Sony?
Is this what happens when someone gets like in the lead or becomes like the best system of the generation? Like this, the so-called, they become too arrogant and they start thinking they can do anything they want. I see those accusations being thrown around about Sony now. I've seen it thrown out about Nintendo when they're in the top spot. I don't remember it being thrown out about Microsoft when 360 was like doing very well though. So I'm not sure. Like between Nintendo and Sony, does this kind of like cyclical? Whoever's doing better.
I would say Microsoft with the 360, they got a lot of Kinect success and chased it in the completely wrong direction.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Xbox One, everything with the reveal of that went wrong.
But it was, I would say that was all a continuation of the success that the Kinect somehow inexplicably got.
Okay.
That like saved the 360. The 360 had a second life because of Kinect.
I gotcha.
And so I think that they're like, hey, we're a huge family console now.
Didn't Sony do dual analogs first? The DualShock?
Yeah.
And memory cards?
Two analog sticks? You can give that to
memory
Sony.
cards too, right?
No. Memory card. Nintendo 64 had the memory slot things that went into the back of the N64 controller.
Was PS1
memory
came
first? Sorry, PS1. Yeah, sorry. But even before that, never mind.
Some Sega console?
I don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, this clearly had been happening for a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't call memory cards an innovation.
I'm just saying,
sorry. I didn't mean to jump on you there.
I would say Sony's biggest innovation is not like a feature, but I would say it's in their focus on first-party titles.
Yeah.
I think what you see over this last generation and a half.
Yeah, Microsoft's chasing that now.
Yeah.
They used to have a really good free online service. The PlayStation, their PlayStation Online service used to be free.
Sure.
Before they started charging for it. I mean, that was a good thing for a long time. When Microsoft was forcing you to pay for gold, you couldn't play online games.
Sorry, in what?
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I think video games as an industry is kind of a weird outlier because, like, think throughout, like, the examples that this question gave were really interesting and cool, and I like this question because if you think throughout the history of technology in, like, appliances, automotive, telecommunication, what the companies that a lot of times come out ahead are the ones that don't innovate, or they don't innovate, they iterate. So, like, some guy invents the car, and then he goes completely out of business and goes under, and then the next guy gets millions on it or whatever. Like that's happened throughout history over and over and over and over again. And so it's kind of funny that we all just assume that it's, because I think it is with video games cyclical. Like one comes up, one goes down, and like we assume they'll all just be around forever. Whereas like in the 30s or 40s, like the first one of these guys would have gone out of business and then the other one would have stolen all their ideas and succeeded with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. It's strange to think of the museum display of PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, when this thing, oh, you know what? I think another huge element, I think we talked about it last week, of the PlayStation's innovations is also being a multimedia player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that is a place where
CDs,
Sony did
stuff.
innovate and excel. And maybe as Andrew said,
PS2, man.
Yeah,
Being
PS2
a
is a
DVD
DVD
player
player.
is a
Yeah, my
console that
first
can
DVD
do that.
player.
yeah.
Best Blu-ray player too.
Yeah, and so I think I would count that toward its innovations as well, which I realize is not a gaming innovation, but is another reason why those consoles were so successful.
I mean, would you argue that they tried to bring affordable VR experience to people? Like
Yeah.
a PSVR?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, console VR plus like, something that's not like was cheaper than like the other alternatives, Oculus and Vive at the time. And they weren't the first, but I mean, I see more people talking about PSVR than any of the others nowadays. So, I mean, I think they did something right with that.
Yeah.
Regardless of how successful you think VR has been.
Go ahead, Jones.
I just also think they're just innovative with their games. I just think they more than a lot of other big entities I've seen have invested so much in games they really believe in. Even just this last year, like looking at Spider-Man, it's like, this is not a fluke. This is a company that knows this is a property that people are going to be excited about. They know they got the right developer. They know exactly how much to spend, how much to market it. And so it's like exciting to see those benchmarks set, to see the company show how that should be done. It's like the moment I was done with Spider-Man, it's like, oh man, I want a Hulk game that they do this. It's like, it'd be so great, it'd be so lucky if like you were a big fan of some comic book character and it got that amount of treatment, that like they trust in Sony Santa Monica to, following this game getting canceled, following big layoffs, to like, no, we believe in you and we believe in God of War. And it's just this humongous success.
Yeah.
So yeah, in some ways, like, yeah, they're not innovating technically, or they're not really pushing like business in crazy directions, but like they don't have to. Like, I think a lot of the announcements I've seen this last gen from Microsoft, at the back of my head, I have to think like, are they doing that because they're like, we cannot compete with these incredible first party titles, these exclusive games, so we got to think of something. Mm-hmm. So I think it's kind of like a yin and yang. Like, I just think it's the balance of the industry. It's like they're not as desperate as some of these other companies. Yeah, they did the PlayStation move. They did they did some Me Too things, but I just think overall, it's not a company where I'm like, well, they're fouling up.
Yeah.
If I was a stockholder, I'd be upset.
Another thing I probably should have brought up in future news is a recent trademark from Sony, from Mark Cerny himself.
Oh, yeah.
That is a system of backwards compatibility that theoretically could emulate PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4 games. Wow. I absolutely expect the PS5 will play PS4 games at least.
I don't think they need emulation for PS4.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's x86 architecture, it should support it inherently.
Yeah. And so, like, I think that, like, it is, you could say anti-consumer now, and I could hear the argument. I think that argument of backwards compatibility will probably be gone next generation. And so I don't see them losing momentum next generation. I don't see like this coming back to bite them in the butt or anything. They did have the best year of any video game console, it turned out, countrywide. Planet-wide.
Worldwide.
I was going smaller. Statewide. No, sorry. In this room. No.
Citywide.
And the whole entire planet. The PlayStation 4 had the best year. And so, yeah, it's hard to imagine that stopping just because of Xbox Game Pass or crossplay. I think there are way bigger factors.
To me, the thing that's weird is them skipping E3. Like, if they don't have, I assume they have something huge planned for shortly before or after E3. But if they don't, then I'm like, is their ego getting too big? Like, they might be setting themselves up for some kind of snafu.
I don't read. I've never read into that. I mean, it's a good, like, plausible explanation. Like, they could be just arrogant. I've always deep down believed it's a one-off year thing where they have something for PS5 announcement planned this year, and wait till the end of the year and then make the judgment call on like what they did with E3, like skipping it out, whether it was the right direction, right decision or not. But also, like, going back to like some of their practices and stuff, like let's be honest, there wasn't any backwards compatibility with PS3 on PS4 because of cell CPU architecture. That was just like
so hard.
That was gonna be a nightmare. It
Yes.
was not worth it. I think everyone had expected. If for whatever reason it was like just more analogous to what the direction they went with PS4 and it was easier, you would totally have seen backwards compatibility. I think they're trying to work out a way to do it that doesn't run into an issue or each system they're having to come up with that Sony patent just screams we need to find a catch-all solution for everything going forward so that we don't have to keep dealing with this each system, because we're not fortunate like Microsoft to have our systems architectures being very it was easy. I would argue it's easier for them to bring their backwards compatibility to where it is now and doing those nice upgrades for their older games for that they also have incentive to do it because they were falling behind. So that could be a part of it as well. But also the crossplay stuff. I also have to wonder, is it just entirely arrogance and like Sony is the number one position, or is there any other explanation part of that? Because
I don't think there is, because it works. People have had it working.
Oh yeah, we've had it work. Yeah,
yes.
we've had it work. So I wonder if maybe it worked because it took a lot of extra work on Sony's end potentially.
It was accidental. They had accidental crossplay working in Fortnite in some other game. Oh, it was War Thunder.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. So crossplay was functioning. It's I think it's not actually that hard.
So then it's a joke for them, because I wonder if anything tied to their whole thing about changing usernames coming out or supposed to be out by this year, and how much of a nightmare apparently they claimed it was.
Yeah.
And that they said games made before April 2018, you might run into errors with online play because if you're changing your ID. I'm like, that's just on their network alone. So if they had crossplays, that could I wonder if it's just because the backbone of PlayStation Network. It's like the spaghetti code metaphor that they've been working on it for so long.
Fair thing to bring up.
They would love to just cut it loose and start fresh, but all those accounts, we'll lose all those accounts. We absolutely cannot do that.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of that is. I'd like to know the truth behind that. It'd be really nice to understand that.
Ian touched on another story that I didn't bring up that was kind of interesting this week, but it bums me out in the strangest ways. We talked about how they reported their sales, best-selling console of 2018. Their stock went down because sales went down. Best-selling console of all of them, but still the investors wanted more. And an article I read, I'm sorry I can't cite it, mentioned that maybe one of the reasons that investors, another reason is they don't see the future of it, that they do feel discouraged about E3. They don't have a release dates for these 2019 games, and so they are feeling a little uneasy about the console doing even better this year.
Yeah, no PSX, no E3.
Yeah, and so I think that soon, now Sony has financial pressure to say something, and I think it'll happen soon. If their stock is going down, if it's going down 8%, it's time to say something.
Yeah, that'll definitely make them speak up sooner than later.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to imagine they planned for this. That they have a timetable in store for their PS5 announcement, and you have to hope that they were smart enough that we're going to stick to this. We're going to stick to our guns. We're going to follow this, and it'll all make sense. But from everyone else's viewpoint, it does make sense to be highly skeptical of do they know what they're doing? Are they really just out of touch with everything?
Yeah.
Also the statement someone at Sony I think made a statement recently about we all thought the next PS5 is going to be cloud gaming. It's going to embrace cloud gaming. They're we're actually several years from that being viable, at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's not next generation, the generation after. So anyone who was sold I was kind of hyped on that. Now it's that's nope, don't get excited about that.
Well, it'll still do PlayStation Now. It'll still be a component of the console.
Oh yeah, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be as grand or as elaborate as some of me. I was expecting this pipe dream, and it's a pipe dream.
You know what? PlayStation Now is an innovation that we just don't care about that Sony did, and so is the streaming to a Vita. We just don't care. It's
they're the first to do that.
Yeah, it feels bad, right?
Wii U did the gamepad.
They have had innovations. We just don't care about those. It is now time for bets. The code is, Jones looked at his phone. It's okay, all right, time for bets.
Our front door is, I think food might be here.
Oh, okay, all right.
Front door is ringing. I dropped my bet and then.
Next week's bet is about Trials Rising.
Yep.
It's going to be released Tuesday, February 12th. How many created tracks will be available?
No, you changed it.
Other bet.
Remember?
Yeah, you changed it.
Oh, because it's not February 12th.
You're right.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Redo.
Apex Legends. How many
Yes.
Twitch viewers will there be at this point next week?
Yes.
92,500.
Oh, Jones.
Very strange,
Okay.
specific number.
Okay, get that food.
I shall return.
Okay, Damiani. How many Twitch viewers at this point?
180,000.
Okay,
200K.
nice. And remember, it was 305 when we checked it right before this podcast began. 101K for me. Ian?
114,000.
114. We're all pretty close on that. Let me lock that in. Last week's bet was about Wargroove.
Oh, Wargroove.
That released
Hey, that
Friday.
game's fun.
That one did release, right?
Yep.
Yes.
February
playing it,
1st.
yeah.
How many times would I see the word advance in 10 most recent reviews on OpenCritic.com?
You do these ones.
Yeah. Jones bet 11. Bloodworth bet 13. Ben bet 11. I bet 9. Ian bet 12. I got 2 questions.
Oh,
Does advanced count as the word advance?
if someone tried to say it in the phrase wars after it, I think it counts
I
because
think
it's a
it counts, too.
typo.
I think it counts.
If
the
they just
spirit
said
of it,
advance and like not advanced series or advanced
Like
wars,
units advancing.
yeah, that doesn't count.
Does advancement count?
No.
Do they call it advancement wars?
No. There's somebody talking about advancement.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right. So I'm going to count advanced. And yeah, I got to call out Shaq News. It wasn't a typo, Damiani. On 5 different occasions throughout the entire review, called it Advanced Wars. It's like, come on. It's Advanced Wars. You're playing on a Game Boy Advanced? Okay, so the
Started
total
on that series.
the total number of advances is 37.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. A lot of reviews could not stop comparing it to Advance Wars. They couldn't
So it wouldn't
stop.
matter if they can't. Yeah,
it would not have
super
been
high.
it's not even
Oh
close.
my gosh.
God is a Geek. I want to credit for being the only review to never mention Advance
Oh,
Wars.
nice.
Well done.
Very awesome.
Which isn't to say it's a bad review if you compared it constantly, because it is a good frame of reference for
Yes,
what this
that's
game
what it
is.
is.
It's fair. Yeah.
That's what I've been telling people. I'm like, do you like Advance Wars?
Yeah.
Play this.
Right. I don't want to be critical of anybody's writing. I do want to be critical because it was a bet that Bloodworth just won. With his bet of 13, he won. He is the closest to 37. That brings our total scores to Scrappy Little Pigs 3. Gorgeous Gorillas 1. You're on that board. Before we go, you know what? I'm gonna squish this one in. What do we have to go, Joe?
You squish what in?
It's like
Another
it's
love
a
and
comment.
respect? Oh, comment.
And it's
okay.
basically a love and respect.
Okay.
We don't have to
Squish
respond to it.
it.
I'm squishing it in because we missed corrections last week, and so there was one comment that like stuck to me, and it was because we were talking. It was that person who wrote in and says, "Hey, I want to be an indie game developer. What do I do?"
Yeah.
And the comments were full of really good recommendations and things, but like I felt weird saying like, "Don't chase your dream too much." You know, it stuck weird with me giving that advice, and a lot of people actually appreciated that. They're like, "Yeah, you're just being realistic, Kyle." But this is an interesting story. Okay. This is from LeVar Green. This was a YouTube comment. I would like to comment on the viewer who sent in their letter about quitting their job to become an indie developer. I'm 40 years old, and besides music, my passion is, and always was, video games. I too always wanted to be a game dev growing up. Finally, when I graduated from high school in 1996, I went to a college for computer graphics in pursuit of my dream. Keep in mind, during this time, going to school, especially on the East Coast, to make games was extremely rare. Anyway, I'll try to keep this shorter. My point is, I went to school for games and failed miserably. I had a nervous breakdown and felt like a true failure because up to that point, I failed at everything. I didn't have the perspective that I have now. Huber is right. Go for it, fam. I now know you can live with the fact that I simply suck ass in that field. I don't even think about the what if anymore. Oh, remember when I said my passion for games is for music? Sorry, is the same as for music? Well, I've been making music and performing for over 10 years now. With my band, I've done shows with or have opened for The Roots, De La Soul, Wu-Tang Clan, and A Tribe Called Quest. What I thought I would be really good at turned out to be for something else. Fast forward to today. I'm using my music to get into the game industry that way. If you can't go in the front door, take the window in the back. Keep pushing, and yes, that will be devastating if you fail. You'll get past it if that happens. I won't say don't let it get to you, because it will, most certainly will. I'm saying don't let that kill this thing called life. Live and learn. Find out who you really are. You have to go through the bumps. You never know until you leap. Just don't have your plan A, also be your plan B, C, and D. That was my 20-year mistake. Love and respect. Love that comment. That one stuck with me. I was like, man, I was thinking about that guy's life. Open for De La Soul. Like, that's pretty cool. And I think a good perspective on all of that. Appreciate that. Let me tell you about patreon.com/EasyAllies. That would be where you would go on to go if you're curious about supporting the Easy Allies. If you give $5 or more to the Easy Allies, for instance, you get early access to this very podcast, in fact, and many other shows. But you'll get this podcast on Wednesdays instead of Fridays, and you can submit to our most popular segments, Love and Respect, and Pro Strats Only, please. Who's in the Bloodworth seat? Damiani? Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, Ian has an update too.
Tech
Okay, this should be a new segment too. It's now time for Ian's Tech Update.
Hi. Welcome to Ian's Tech Update. I just wanted you guys to know that we have ordered sound treatment, acoustic treatment for the room, but I just got the ship date, which will be at the end of this month. So the room will sound echoey, I mean, especially in here because I'm not treating in here, but the main stage will sound echoey until March. So just gird your loins. Also, we know that a couple of the lights are flickery. We thought we addressed it, and we will have to continue trying to address it. Thank you.
That was a good I love this segment.
Please be excited.
This is our new most popular segment.
Excited.
Damiani, as in the Bloodworth chair, you get the right and responsibility to share a Twitter handle with the world. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with throughout this entire podcast. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
Sure. You can follow me on Twitter at Damianicus. I know the video I want to promote. It's been enough time now for most of you that you should be able to watch this without fear of spoilers. Spoiling anything. You need to go check out Brad's review of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's time to celebrate. You gotta keep the celebration going for this, and
keep it going.
It's a part of the fun and the kind of like the community part of it is going to check out other reviews and stuff, and like whether you agree or disagree and just sharing your thoughts and stuff. That's like, I feel like that's a big part of the release process. And I know I saw comments. I went and read comments, and it was great to see comments saying, X days, I am now finally free. I can post here and talk without fear of spoilers and stuff. Because people are afraid of the comments and stuff. It's not just watching the video. It's just anywhere's a landmine. So people should be starting to finish it, I think, about like now. And it's a good time to go back if you skipped it because that was your reason. Final word on anything. One thing I do want to say is I want to point out that the PlayStation 4 best-selling worldwide, right, Kyle? But it doesn't include those moon sales. So I'm gonna have to call that into question.
Sorry, moon sales?
Yeah, the moon sales.
Explain that to me.
Do you think anyone or space sales? Do you think anyone in space station or anything, ordered a copy of a PlayStation 4? Do you think it was possible? Do you think anyone, since the PS4 has been released, do you think someone has bought PS4 in space? Not delivered, obviously, just like bought it, like, on some kind of like.
I'm not talking. This is your final word. I'm not saying another word.
All right. No, final word is I'm really upset that there's an Titanfall 3, but I hope that Apex Legends does well because I don't want Respawn to become the next victim of EA closing and shuttering a studio. And with that, may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
They have like this set number of times that they have to keep sneezing.